Welcome to Turn to Your Doom, a choose your own adventure book podcast where I read a choose your own adventure book with a friend, and they like, adventure and stuff, and they choose. With me today is someone who isn't a short hominem, but it's just like a short humanoid.
And I'll have
It's
to
Faith.
know that I am the average height for a female in the United States. I'm 5'4".
Shut up, nerd.
You're short too. What are you talking about?
Yeah, which is really low for Scandinavian people. Like, person who is like 98% white and like 1% like quartz or something.
I'm pretty sure we're entirely white.
You're 98% Scandinavian and 1% Norwegian, which is just another version of Scandinavian. It's Scandinavian lowercase instead of uppercase.
Exactly.
One moment. I have to do something. Okay. So we're doing part 2 of the Underground Kingdom. We last left off with you getting eaten by something with fangs, which I don't know if you know about this, Faith, but a lot of things have fangs.
Yeah.
So we don't know what they look like. Some would argue that humans have like very short fangs with like I9 teeth. The ones that people tend to turn into vampire teeth, but it doesn't really make sense because you'd want actually like your front teeth would be better fangs if you're puncturing something for like,
yeah,
when you're biting them. So like you want because like I9 are a little bit back. Like you have to like be making out with their necks, which might be the reason why people think they're sexy.
Okay, never mind. This makes more sense.
You're getting like the hickey experience, but with like this makes more sense. Hey, Faith, you know that thing which was like at least Bram Stoker, a famous person who had only one good novel in him, used Eastern Europeans as like a threat, like as almost like a threat,
yes.
And like maybe even sexual threat to like Western Europeans.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe that's why. But whatever. I didn't think about that until now because I always thought like, why would they be the front teeth? Like you'd want, you'd be able to nick them and be like, real quick. Might be able to like get someone's ankle real quick and like get a little bit of like a juice box, like real quick drive by.
Just look like a Hyrax.
They go away.
With their little teethies.
Yeah, you're like a beaver, but like the thing that you eat is human blood, and you have to bite into the tree to get it. But yeah. Okay. But yeah, so we are going to instead of just like not interacting with the locals, which look like ape type beasts, homonyms, as I would say. We are going to, in fact,
try to be friends,
talk to them, or do something with them. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you'll do the thing that colonists did and like be like, "Hey, I'm totally okay with you," and they get them sick.
I'll cough on them,
or kill them. I don't know. It depends.
Yeah.
Or cough on them, or have sex with them. I don't know. How sexy do you think they are? Like, what if both of you just like instantly get a connection? You're just like, God damn it, we got to bang right now, and both of you agree at that moment that this is how the first interaction between these two species.
And I did not find any of them sexy. So
I don't. But the thing is, some people did. So
me specifically,
you can't rule stuff out. Yeah, some people, yes. They're like, yes, give me some more. Okay, so we're gonna face the creatures face to face with our faces. So turn to page 42. You step to meet the strange procession. The underworld creatures form a circle around you, cackling and gesturing with each other. You smile and hold out your arms. Hello? You begin, but the creatures raise up their nets and close in on you. One of them barks an order. They motion for you to follow them. You don't have much choice. Despite their small size, they move rapidly through the thick woods. Occasionally they freeze. You hear them whispering, Kota Ib, Saba Kota. You march a mile or so through the groves of trees. It's as hot as you've ever known it. You feel as if you're going to faint. But you finally reach open land and you instantly feel cooler. The black sun is drawing heat from your body. Soon you reach a village of igloo-shaped structures that look like they're made of green clay. One of your captors leads you to the nearest one. Ib Agon, he says, taking you inside. Turn to page 44. The interior of the Agon, as it seems to be called, is lit by glowing stones circling the inner wall. The center is a small fountain. Clear water bubbles forth and flows through a sliver before disappearing underground. The floor is soft and spongy, like a thick bed of moss. The leader steps forward. Ket, he says, pointing towards himself. Ket Raka. Pointing to the others, he says, Akim Raka. Tor Raka. You repeat each name, then point toward yourself and tell them your name. The Rakas laugh as they try to pronounce the strange sounds. Tor, who seems to be younger than the others, brings you something that looks like cheese but tastes like honey. Ket gives you a small fruit. Ib, Tonga, he says, smiling. Tonga is delicious. And you're eating a second one when a large blue-furred Raka rushes into the Agon, pointing at you. He speaks excitedly in his own tongue. Tor begins to argue with him. The others join in. Nar Mig Kala, the blue-furred Raka says loudly. It seems like he wants you to come with him. It seems that he represents the chief or leader. Ket and Akim gestures at you, as if you should obey. But Tor shakes his head, warning you not to go. If you follow the blue-furred Raka, turn to page 48. If you refuse, turn to page 50.
I'll go with them.
Okay. Don't listen to the youth.
Exactly.
I understand. You don't value their opinion.
You dumb kids and your iPhones.
Dumb Tor on his iPhone all the time.
Wait, how did you get that?
Telling me to do woke things like ignore authority. Hoping for the best, you follow the blue-furred Raka to the center of the village. As you walk along the narrow footpaths, the other Rakas emerge from their Agons and stare at you curiously. When you reach the central Agon, the blue-furred Raka lets out a long, low hooting noise, which is answered from within. Inside, an old white-haired Raka sits near the central fountain. A large black disc hangs from his neck. For a long time he stares at you. Finally, he steps closer. So you are what my hunters found. My name is Artan. I am High Raka of the village of Rakmara. You are so startled by the familiar sounds that it takes a minute for you to answer. How is it that you speak my language? You finally ask. Artan smiles. A visitor from the netherworld. She calls herself Nira. Dr. Vivaldi? She's alive? Where? The old Raka shakes his head. She tried to swim across the great river. The river spirits have swallowed her. She might have made it across, you said. Even if she did, the Archpods would have fed her to the Kota beasts. What are the Archpods? The Archpods live beyond the great river. For a while, the Rakas and Archpods have each one hunting boat. That is the law. Now the Archpods built mini-boats. They are not hunting boats. They are war boats. The Archpods plan to conquer Rakmora. You hold your head in your hands. Poor Dr. Vivaldi. Now, the threat of war?
Yeah, like, damn.
This is a lot to lay on someone
up.
as soon as
I don't
they
even know if
enter
I'm
your village.
staying.
They're like... By the way, if you find a skeleton of a human, just know that he pissed himself to death.
It was like so...
He pissed away all of it.
It was so much at
He
once.
pissed away all of his moisture. It took him 5 minutes, and it was like he was withering away. Like, all of his skin just was, like, floating off of him, like he was Thanos snapped. But, like, his skeleton was the only thing left.
In under 5 minutes.
Oh, God. If that was... Okay, my first wish, if I had a genie, was I would wish that a politician of some sort would publicly piss themselves to death by pissing out all of their liquids in their body. Because someone would film it, and it would be a very interesting stuff film to watch. So, and also, it would make national importance. Because you'd be like, what the fuck happened? It would be like, oh, there's a new disease where you piss yourself to death. Yeah. Okay, so, yes, the bad times are upon us. Arton continues. But we shall protect ourselves. We'll learn to mix powders and call upon the fires of the earth at a great blast of heat and noise. You mean bombs? No, idiot. They don't have the word. Okay, whatever. I hate when people are like that. I mean, like, oh, you speak a different language from a different culture. You mean the thing from my culture? No. The thing that I call it?
God.
Like, no. Stop. Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up. Just stop colonizing their language. We call them the Brockpaw, with a Brockpaw, and with your help, we shall destroy the Archpods before they destroy us. What do you mean with my help, you ask? You are from the Netherworld, where war is a way of life. If you ride with us, our warriors will have courage.
In war at all.
Like, what? That'd be like, hey, you're from America, you know how to, like, snipe people from a million miles away, right? You're a Russian woman. You're one of the best snipers that ever exists, right?
Right.
You're a German soldier stuck in a barrel tower. You could definitely shoot like 200 people, right? God. Okay. What are the Coda Beasts? You ask too many questions. The High Rock snaps back at you. Now you must answer mine. Will you go with our warriors to attack the Archpod? You shrink back from the choice. The High Rock's voice grown stern and cold. And if you are not with us,
what the fuck?
You are against us, and we shall deal with you as our enemy.
I just got here.
I just found out that one of my colleagues and heroes, possibly is dead, and taught you how to speak English. And now you're going to treat me like an enemy combatant if I don't say yes to your war that I found out about less than a minute ago? You're only condensing like the whole like Joseph Campbell story circle thing like down into like one like less than a paragraph worth of words. If you tell the Hierarcha that you will go with his warriors, turn to page 52. If you tell them that you won't take part in a war, turn to page 56.
I don't really have a choice, do I? No, I'll go with them.
Not really.
At least I can figure out if Mira's actually alive or not.
I'll go with your warriors, you answer. Very well. You will stay with Tomo. Vivaldo taught him English, and he will tell you what you need to know. Immediately, one of the Rakas steps forward and takes your arm. I am Tomo, he says, then leads you to the outskirts of the village, into his Aegon. He waves you to woven mats. You must rest now, he says. You peer outside, at the red-streaked sky. Doesn't it ever get dark here? We have no night and day, says Tomo. We measure time by the tides of the great river. Dr. Vivaldi says 2 of our tides equal 1 of your days. It is sleeping tide now. Faith, you know how evil it is to teach the concept of time to people who don't have a concept of time? That is so evil. It's almost as bad as teaching like the concept of like capitalism.
If they were humans, they would naturally fall into a 24-hour cycle. Yeah, on Earth.
On
even
Earth,
without
anyway,
the sun.
Yeah. But the thing is like time. I'm about to sound like I'm like high or anything, but time is a construct created by men.
Yeah.
Like, we just use it as a measuring device. We kind of force nature into something that we can understand better. But, like, it's like when, like, cats and dogs, like, they get upset when you don't feed them at the same time they normally get fed at, like, during daylight savings time. It's because they recognize that the sun looks like this right now, and I normally get fed when there's this much light.
Schedule.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, they keep a schedule, but they don't have time as that a part of that. They react to how the environment around them changes, but they don't have time. And like to add complication, because time adds so much complication to so much. Because like for a long time, quote unquote, we would use like the rising and setting of the sun. Like, hey, it's light out, we're working. It's not it's not sun out, we're resting. And that was just how it was until we introduced like sustainable, like more sustainably available, not sustainable, what's the right word, actively available forms of light, which means that we could work at night. So like when electricity and like gas lights and stuff like that started becoming more of a thing, we didn't like really rely, I don't think we really relied on like, hey, it's like 1 a.m. or whatever. Like, sure, we would kind of, but like the way we acted was like, the sun is up, the sun is down. Time is evil. So is money. That's why we need to destroy both money and time. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so.
I don't know.
Why am I so passionate about that, Faith? I'm very passionate about it. I really hate the concept of time.
Yeah.
Now, time travel's fucking cool. Time travel's cool, but the measurement of time, no. No bueno. Okay. You realize that you have not slept since you arrived in the Underground Kingdom. How long have you been here? How many tides? Too tired to think of it. You lie down and quickly fall asleep. Turn to page 54. When you wake, Tomo gives you a bright pink tonga. You haven't realized how little you've eaten, and wolfed it down. Smiling, Tomo replaces it with another. Someday we'll go hunting, says Tomo. Are you a hunter? Almost. I must go on the hunt of the Black Sun. I must kill a Kota beast. The Kota beast? What are they? You ask too many questions.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything.
It'd be funny if that was like... I don't know any of this. Why are you yelling at me? Tomo frowns. Great toothed animals with eyes of blue flames and teeth like iron fangs. They live in the darkest, hottest parts of the woods. They tear down and apart anything, even themselves. You start to ask about the hunt of the Black Sun, but Tomo raises a hand. Now we must talk of war. Stop asking questions. The archpods will not expect an attack when the river is low. So that's when we shall cross and destroy their boats. I made a bad choice, by the way, with how I was gonna how the Rockas speak, by the way. I'm already feeling it in my voice. The next morning, the great river begins to fall. The Rockas load their hunting boat, which is now called the war boat, with the brakpa, crude bombs packaged in hollow logs. You shudder to think of what you witness at the beginning of a war, but it seems like there's no way to avoid it. Before the sleeping tide has ended, Tomo and you, along with 5 hunters, are set off in the war boat. Also, they're just normal boat that they fish in. It's really like, can I borrow the fishing boat?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a war boat right now. I'm sorry. It's always a war boat now. I mean, I feel like they could just build another boat.
Like
after they build a lot of boats. Although then you're talking about like it's like boat proliferation, except for like
that's
nuclear
proliferation. Winning the war down here, boat proliferation.
Can you imagine that? Like if you built like, because like all we know is that like they could probably count. They could count more than one. So let's assume that they could count at least a 4, and they're like rabbits. And anything after the number 4 is basically might as well be 1,000,000 or 1,000. What if they just have 5 boats? And the response that they had was, "We're going to build a bomb." Oh god. Okay. I like the idea of just like, hey, I'm gonna cut down this tree. I know it hangs over. I know it's on your property, but like, it's fine. And then like your response was you buy a tank and like demolish their house. You're taking it a few steps ahead. Well, why don't you just like build a few more boats, you know, and not bomb them? Although at the same time, like maybe they are going to kill them. But like they don't have guns. We figured out how to build bombs before guns, though. If you think about it, guns are just like tiny self-propelled bombs that we shoot stuff with. Like you have a tiny bomb inside of a thing, and then that bomb pushes a thing like further.
I don't know. Why are you like this, or
why am I like this, Faith?
Well, I mean, I have some.
I'm gonna blame my mom.
I was gonna say I have
a mental
some
illness.
Insight. I have some ideas.
I think it's a combination
based on
of
the
a couple
things
of
told
things.
me about your life.
Like why do I feel like I need to drill down into everything like way too much in order to feel like I need to understand it more and end up confusing myself more? Why do I feel like that? This is
no.
This is why my mom didn't love me. Joking. She didn't like me because I wasn't a girl.
She was a bad mom.
The huge difference there. Yes. Okay, so before the sleeping tide ended, Tomo, you, and 5 hunters set off in the rowboat. The Raka hunters are clumsy at rowing. The boat is so heavy that only a few small waves could easily swamp it. You realize you might be able to swim to shore before the Rakas can turn around and catch you. It's risky, but it's your only way to avoid the war. If you dive overboard and swim to shore, turn to page 61. If you stick it out in the warboat, turn to page 61.
Let's try swimming to shore. Even though this is how our friend probably
died. Get
died.
course-martialed. Swimming to shore looks too risky. You sit at the boat and hope for the best. As the warboat enters the middle of the river, the current gets stronger. But this is if you decide to stick it out in the warboat. The Raka warriors hardly know how to row against it. As the Rakas struggle with their oars, the boat is swept further and further downstream. You wonder where the current would take you, until you hear a sound above that quickly grows into a roar. Igriba! The Rakas shout. Igzark! They begin to unload the heavy brakpas. Frantically, you begin to help, but at the sight of the boiling white rapids ahead, you lose heart. Moments later, the boat smashes against the rocks, and you and the Raka warriors are swept away by the raging torrent.
Oof.
The end. So, don't stay in the boat. It turns out, it needs to be above the water at a certain point, so it doesn't get swamped, and also maybe don't use a canoe in a river that's has rapids in it, unless you're going through those rapids. But yeah, okay. This is if you swim. In a flasher over the side, swimming for shore, the Rakas yell at you. One of them tries to hit you with an oar while the others stroke furiously, trying to turn their unwilling craft around. Swimming hard, you hear screams behind you. The rowboat is overturned. The brakpas have gone to the bottom, and the Rakas are struggling to save their lives. And right at the boat, using all your strength, you swim to the shore and start running for the groves of cluster leaves. Almost once you hear a loud, thrilling song. Above you is an enormous flying creature with rings stretching 20 feet across. You stare at the great blue-green eyes and at once feel completely safe. You know if you've seen it, or at least dreamt of seeing it before. It's like some sort of angel bird sent here to protect you.
Oh my god.
Without thinking, you leap onto its back. Turn to page 22. I don't understand why they keep on saying angel bird. Okay, I don't know if I'm just like a weirdo, but when you're calling something angel bird, I'm just thinking that you're going to become attracted to it somehow at some point. I don't know why, but I think you're on the edge of just being like, is this bird hot? Every time they say it. Which maybe it is. Maybe it's a really hot bird. Maybe you're from the 60s and you're a British person. Or a current British person.
Yeah.
And you're just talking about a lady with 20-foot wings. Just a normal lady. Your strongest desire now is to be home again. You cling tightly to the angel bird. As if it knows what you're thinking, it rises into the air. It banks steeply, and then, accelerating, hurtles into a corridor within the ground. You nestle into its thick, downy coat as it streaks through the darkness, all while you feel completely safe. And in time, you sleep. When you awake, it's much colder. A cold wind bites against your body. The brightness of the world around you is not the warm, red light of the underground kingdom, but the cold, white light of the Arctic. The barren landscape is pocketed with ice and snow, as a familiar scene, as is the rude village of shacks and tin-roofed buildings nearby. You're in Greenland. The village is a coastal settlement from which your party began its trek across the ice fields to the bottomless crevasse. As you trudge against the frozen slope to the village, you think about the angel bird and how much there must be in the universe. That even our own planet, then we can even imagine the end.
Well then.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
That sure is.
That's an ending.
I don't know.
How'd you feel about that?
Yeah.
I feel like it was anticlimactic. But it's the ending of a line of choices. We can now go to the other choice, which we're going to go all the way back up to the choice you made, where you either with the Rakas, and you're going to pull an Afghanistan on them, where you firebomb, Baghdad. No, Iraq. I'm bad at geology, apparently.
Yeah.
Baghdad is in Iraq? Iraq? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna firebomb Iraq. I don't know, Kuwait. I'm gonna say Kuwait. This is Desert Storm. Let's say just Desert Storm for this one. Or you say, no, I'm actually a conscientious objector, and I can't take part in this war. That I found out within 30 minutes of meeting the entire species of people that you are.
Yeah.
So you're gonna say no.
I just got here.
You're gonna be like, maybe not. Although I think you're like a young adult, like a young man in this one as a main character. Because I feel like they're not sending out. I feel like they would say, I'm the youngest teen adventurer in the world.
Oh yeah, like when you're the
and I'm about to go to the middle of the earth.
Like when you're the teen detective in the other books, and they specifically say you're a teen detective.
Yeah, no, they will say when you're a teen detective or a child prodigy or something in these books. Like I feel like you're just like a man with a degree that would be otherwise useless without government grants. Yeah. So I'll have nothing to do with your Brockpa, you say. I'm not an enemy of you or the Arcpods. Inkrigsark, the High Raka says angrily. The two Raka guards seizes you and marches you out of the Aegon. But in the moment you get outside, you make a break. You've always been able to run fast when you needed to, and in the light gravity, you're even faster. As you dart through the rows of cluster leaf trees, you hear the cries of the Rakas from both sides and behind you. But the great river lies just ahead. And for once you're in luck. There's a crude raft tied up along the shore. You quickly untie it and push it off as you jump aboard. The current soon takes you around the bend of the river and safely out of sight. You lie low on the craft, afraid of landing until you are well past Rockma. Now you have time to think. Where did the river take you? What will be your fate? Turn to page 63. Your raft floats past marshy banks and yellow clay islands. The river grows narrow as it flows through a deep canyon. Rock cliffs rise on both sides. You hold on, hoping to reach a place that you can call land. Never have you experienced as dark of a night as this. It is as if the river was flowing through a tunnel somewhere, into the depths of the earth. You finally sleep, and it seems as if a long time has passed when you've awakened and find yourself in the rift pitching up and down. Why has the river grown so rough? It's still too dark to see. At least there are stars out. Stars? There's any stars in the Underground Kingdom. You're not in a river. You're on an ocean. I would like to say that we did find an underground ocean within the mantle. Not the mantle, the crust, Earth's crust. Sometime this year in 2024.
Yep.
Scientists found like there's just an entire ocean under the crust. Which means we could have a pocket that's not the center of the Earth, but like, under the Earth by a little bit. Would it be so funny if we figured out that there is like a underground like civilization like 2025? It turns out there is underground civilization where the Nazis have been preparing to take over the world. They've been slowly like, mining and building up an army to, go up that one hole. in Antarctica. Yes, Antarctica. And those. I just wish that the like all the like cool sounding shit didn't involve like Nazis somehow, and like in conspiracy theories. I just wish there's less anti-Semitism. Because okay, but yeah, you're in an ocean apparently. What's going on? We'll figure out. So the Great River must be an underground link between the Earth's seas. The tides were with you and carried you through the Earth's mantle to the crust of the Earth. There is land nearby, and you notice a faint glow on the horizon. Soon the sun will be rising, not the cold black sun of the underground kingdom, but your warm, bright, life-giving sun. The end. I just want to say I wish we had a black sun instead, because I like the cold a lot more. I would prefer that when I went outside, my heat was taken away from me instead of added on me. Yeah. I want to be sucked up. Well, then just say that. I mean, the sun strokes you. Why not suck on you?
Sun out here stroking people.
So yeah. That's fun.
Get washed out into the ocean. Get to go on a little sailing adventure after our underground adventure.
Okay, so instead of going to the High Rocka or whatever,
we're like, no.
Them. Yeah, the High Rocka. We're going to. No. We're going to be like, no. I don't like leaders. I prefer horizontal.
I feel like a completely vertical chain of command
structures
is a terrible idea.
I believe that the only hierarchy we need are justified hierarchies that are easily dismantled. Which you're just an anarchist at that point. But, it's whatever. I bet a lot of people would agree with anarchy if you just, like, described it instead of, said anarchy. Because, let me tell you, the world governments have done a really good job at, like, defanging what anarchists actually believe. Because it sounds like a lot like just what a community naturally goes towards normally. Yeah, I know, it's really weird. Almost like it's like feels like a really natural form of living. And
my friend made a tier list of Christian denominations based on vibes, and one of them was the Amish community, but I read it as Amish communism, and I was like, that's so based.
Amish communism is very based. I don't know how.
I was like, why? Hell yeah. But, I could totally go for the Amish community it just said Amish community. In fact, not communism.
No, the Amish has the vibes for Amish people are the men, bad. A majority, 90% bad. The women, I'm gonna say 50% okay. 50%. Mostly because I love Amish friendship bread, which is basically monkey bread. Yeah. If you know what, kind of, but baked by Amish women, which is just like, oh god, if I could eat the heart of an Amish woman to gain her abilities to cook Amish bread, or just learn how to bake from an Amish woman. I don't know which one's going to be easier, but I will do one of those. You shake your head and stand your ground. The blue-furred Rockas glare at you in strides from the Argonne. He returns a few minutes with two other Rockas, holding ropes and a net. Yeah, at least buy me a drink first. Come on. Get it? Whatever. You're supposed to laugh at my jokes immediately, Faith, and not make me feel like I'm a bad person.
There is a limit to what
because that's what I feel like when people don't laugh at my jokes. Well, I guess you're a bad friend and I hate you now. Go listen
to your I Hate Faith playlist on Spotify. It's very popular.
I am gonna have a It's Over Faith playlist. It's all about why I don't like you anymore.
There's so many banger tunes on there. And I'm like,
send you a mixtape that says I hate
really
you.
Good. You're like, no.
You put a lot of thought into this. Thank you. Like no. I'd be like, this is fan behavior. I'd be like, no, it isn't. Stop.
Now it's supposed to hurt your feelings.
The first song is "I Hate You" by 3 Days Grace.
It's Dead to Me by Kelly Uchis. Yeah, that song's great.
Turns out
are really
a lot of
good.
songs about hating a particular woman are like actually bangers. Turns out, like it turns out like divorced dad rock is actually like pretty fucking good, and that's why people still listen to it.
I hate that.
Oh god. Okay, so no, I'm just trying to think of other songs that would be like, man, this is a banger, but also it says how much I hate you. Okay, well, I won't be taken captive like some sort of animal, you shout. A rocket tries to rope you, but you duck out of reach. They draw closer, like a football quarterback. You spin and dart past them. Kella, Zark! The rockets yell. But you're already out of the Aegon, running across the dimly lit land. Helped by the light gravity, you quickly reach a grove of cluster leaf trees. You keep running, on, and at last you reach an open countryside. In the soft, reddish-gray twilight, you see the great river just ahead. You stop to rest beside its waters. Turn to page 53. Once you've caught your breath, you walk along the river bank and reach a crude wooden dock. 2 rockets are guarding their hunting boat. A long, flat-bottomed shell fashioned from cluster leaf wood. Nearby is a smaller boat, one you could paddle yourself. You might be able to untie it, push offing it across the river, before the guards catch you. If you try to take the small boat and make a break to the other side, turn to page 57. If you try to bluff the guards into thinking you have permission to use it, turn to page 58. Now, how tall and white do you think you are?
We're just gonna steal it. We also don't speak their language.
Yeah, well, that means you have the advantage there. You just use your natural charisma that you get from being a tall white man. That apparently makes you automatically more attractive to other people. I don't understand that. There's so many ugly tall white men that like people are just like, oh my god, they're so hot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're just tall. That's it. Why do you value that so much? Their knees are gonna go out way quicker than someone who's short.
I know, but
well, they made
it'd be easier if I just told somebody.
You don't need a human for that. Also, maybe you can put your stuff on lower shelves. Just put your stuff on lower shelves. Put your stuff lower to the ground. You know, maybe build a house that's like built for people who aren't tall. Like, I just really don't understand that metric. Like, I'd be like, oh, I'm so tall and white, and then automatically that makes you more electable for president. Like I think the first time like the less tall person won for, at least in my lifetime, won a presidential election was with Biden.
Yeah.
But no, the tall person always wins. The presidential election almost always. It turns out you have to be like really horrible and bad over the first 4 years in order to not be voted.
Yeah.
And Kamala is just like a normal woman size, so she never could have won. Also, she was also a authoritarian who was running a Republican campaign as a Democrat. That doesn't help. But also, she was shorter than Trump. Okay. Actually, that's a new tactic that no one said. We can start blaming how tall people are for election losses.
Yeah, let's just start doing that.
So, like, that'd be a lot. Yeah, let's just do that. It'll be a arms race to see who can run the tallest person in their party.
Actually examining.
Be like, who's the tallest Democrat we have? It's just like, I don't know, like a random like Yao Ming ass motherfucker who's like almost 8 foot tall.
Oh my god!
It's Andre the Giant versus Yao Ming. Actually, voting for who's the most physically intimidating is just like nominating a war chief.
Man,
really. And we're gonna need a good one of those for the water wars. So yeah,
let's steal this boat.
Sorry, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we stealing? So we're stealing the small one.
No.
We decided you're not tall or white. Or wide
Definitely
enough.
not tall enough.
Well, maybe you're wide enough, but not tall enough.
Yeah.
You need to be at least 7 foot tall. What if that was just a stat modifier you could have in a tabletop game? Like, how tall are you? I'm 7 foot tall. Okay, you get +3 to charisma.
Congratulations.
You quickly reach the boat, but you can't untie the rope. Instantly, the Rockas are upon you. Uttering angry cries, they fling nets over you. One of them blindfolds you, and they march you along a bumpy, winding path. Where are you taking me, you ask? But the Rockas ignore you, muttering angrily in their own tongue. Death seems certain, but how will they execute you? They seem to like ropes. Maybe they'll hang you? As you march on, hour after hour, the air turns colder. You feel your strength ebbing. Finally, the Rockas stop. Exhausted, you crumble to the ground. All is silent as you fall into a deep sleep. Turn to page 60. Hours later, you wake, stiff and shaking in the cold. Cautiously, you pull up your blindfold. Your captors are gone. All around you is dark brown clay. There are no trees, no water, no shelter from the cold wind that blows across the vast empty plain. So this is your intended fate. You're left here to die of exposure under the black sun. It's a long trek across the desert of the underground kingdom. But if only you can reach some trees. Maybe you'll be able to find some warm place to rest. Somehow you know you'll make it. If you have the will. Do you? The end.
Yeah,
answer is no. You're just gonna take another nap and hope you die. Yeah, you're just gonna do what you normally do.
Go to
Hope the
bed. I
problem
hope
goes
that
away
it's solved in
after
the
a
morning.
nap. Okay, so the other option we have is you basically are gonna try to talk your way and get in that boat. You think fast. Luckily, you remember the command that the blue forward Rocka gave you. You walk up to the guard, smiling. You point in the direction you came from, and then yourself, then to one of the boats. Nar mal kala, you say with authority. The guards mutter. Then, to your surprise, they smile. One of them unties the boats and motions for you to board it. They must think you're a privileged guest of the High Rocka. You get aboard quickly and push off. The current takes you around a bend, and you notice Arkpod settlements in the opposite shore. Soon you spot a good landing place. As you get closer, you notice a band of Arkpods standing on the shore. Like the first Rockas you met, they are armed with ropes and nets. They don't look very friendly. You could be in for more trouble than you had with the Rockas. If you continue shore, turn to page 66. You soon find that the Arkpods live in agons, similar to those of the Rockas. Your captors leave you to the largest one, where you expect to be presented to their chief. Instead, a woman calls out, "It's Dr. Vivaldi!"
Oh, hell yeah!
She hugs you warmly. "I thought I'd never see another human face," she cries, tears streaming down her cheeks. One of the guards says something you can understand. Then the Arkpods march out of the Argon, leaving you alone with your friend. Dr. Vivaldi says how she barely survived her fall to the bottomless crevasse, how she lived for almost a year with the Rockas, and finally swam across the great river to the land of the Arkpods. You tell her of your descent to the underground kingdom and your adventures in Rockmara. "We must set up a plan," she says. "The Arkpods have learned that the Rockas are making bombs. They think we may be Rocka spies. That's why you are treated so rudely. They have told me that their chief, their Grand Akpa, will soon decide whether to execute us." "Is there anything we can do?" you ask. Dr. Vivaldi looks at you thoughtfully, then says, "If there is a war, we cannot expect to survive. I am going to talk to the Grand Akpar. But here, take my gold bracelets. If you give it to a guard, he will let you escape." "But what will happen to you? I don't want to leave you here. I'll go to the Grand Akpar with you." Dr. Vivaldi replies, "Think carefully before you make such a decision." If you decide to face the Grand Akpar with Dr. Vivaldi, turn to page 70. If you decide to escape while you still have a chance,
I'll go see the head leader dude with her.
Okay. "I'll face the Grand Akpar with you. That is a brave choice," Dr. Vivaldi says. "But it will also have taken courage to escape." She smiles. "Sometimes there's nothing to do but to be brave." As she speaks, 3 Akpar guards walk to the Aegon. They motion you to follow them. When Dr. Vivaldi tries to join you, they block her. "Good luck." Okay, apparently even they are sexist. Actually, how do you know that they're like male or female, or even like go along those like that like bimodal, thing? Like, do they just have their dongs hanging out? Is that why? They'd be like, oh, that's definitely a human-like penis.
Oh,
like right
whoa.
there. See everything going on.
Letting it hang out, huh? Yeah.
What if all of them have penises, though? What if all of them have penises? What if some of them are like hyenas, where their clits are like so large that they're like look like a penis? Doing all the arguments in my head. People are like, why do you have to make everything so political? Okay. Okay, but yeah. A few minutes later, you're standing in the central Igon. Facing you is the Grand Akpar, and his long, silky fur is combed like an oval frame around his stern, gray face. A pendant made of smooth black stone hangs from his neck. He studies you for a moment and says, "We have learned from Dr. Vivaldi that you've come from the netherworld, a world of warfare. You know much more about such things than we do. You can prove that you're not a Raka spy by telling us how to defeat them." You stand silently, thinking about what to say. "I am waiting," the Grand Akpar says. "What do you say? Or what do you do? If you play along with him, turn to page 73. If you refuse, turn to page 104. If you play along, you definitely say, well, you just make out with them. Just like violently make out with them. Like, just make sure that they like make them feel like they can't live their life without you sexually.
It's not that hard.
And then yeah, the best way of doing it is to make them fall in love with you, be in a long committed relationship, and then break up with them right before you say you're going to marry them, saying, "I actually never loved you. I did this in revenge." Make them never trust another person in their life. Like, make them really feel that love is actually fake, and that anytime someone says that they love them, it actually hurts them. It's a stab in the heart. Like, you stab them in the heart. In fact, you should make their parents fall in love with you as well. Like, make them think of you as their son or daughter. But then, like, when you break up with them, your mom and dad will be like, "Hey, where's that one Raka that you loved?"
Yeah.
and like, it's a stab in the heart each time. So, yeah, that's the ultimate way. Okay.
I'll play along.
So, do you want to play along with them, or do you refuse? Okay. 73. You try to think fast, but you don't want to be responsible for killing the Rakas, but everyone sound helpful. Land your fleet during sleeping tide, you say. That way you will surprise them. "Thank you," the Grand Akpar says, "but if your advice fails, you will be taken to the mouth of fire." The Grand Akpar motions to his guards. They lead you back to Dr. Vivaldi. You and Dr. Vivaldi wait anxiously, wishing that you can do anything to prevent the war. You know that the Akpards are building boats as fast as they can. Dr. Vivaldi pleads with the guard to let them see the Grand Akpar, but they refuse to listen. One day, the Grand Akpar comes to your Aegon. "Our boats are ready," he says. "We invade Rakbara now." That sleeping tide, you lay in your bed, dreaming of home. An explosion startles you. A war has begun. You must have their bombs ready. You wait anxiously for the news of what happened. Finally it comes, in the form of Akpard group guards carrying ropes and nets. Turn to page 85. 84. "You have betrayed us," the head guard says. "The Rakas group threw bombs at our boats. Nearly all of them are lost. Many of our hunters were killed." He turns to you and the others. "Yeah, I know.
Did you think that maybe I told you to
They just built them. They can't know how to use them that well.
Like, you had every.
Yeah, why weren't, like, you need to wait till they were sleeping.
Like they had every advantage and they fucked it up. This is not my fault.
Like for real, get good at that point. He turns to the others behind him. "Bind them and take them to the mouth of fire." You cry for mercy, but you know that there will be none. The end. Okay. So if you decide not to help, or fake advice, "I will not help you fight the Rakas," you tell the Grand Akpar. "War is a terrible thing. Your village will be destroyed, and your people will be killed. Our wars always have brought grief." Grand Akpar is silent for a time. "Then it would be like that here," he finally says. "But how can we avoid war? If we do nothing, the Rakas will destroy us." "Talk to them," you say. "Work out a plan for peace. No, he shakes his head. We cannot trust them, and they think they cannot trust you. You must tell them that you fear what you fear from them, and ask what they fear from you, and you might discover that you fear the same things. Like finally making out with each other and falling in love and like committing to another person.
Yeah.
Or or multiple people for the rest of your life. I know commitment is hard, but sometimes that's what you need to do. You need to commit
You
to
have
another
to trust
person.
somebody.
Once you read an understanding, you work out a plan to let the Rakas and Arkpards live in peace. The Grand Arkpar paces to one side of the Argon to the other. Finally, he stops and stares into your eyes. You shrink back from his stern gaze. I will try what you suggest, he says. Meanwhile, you'll be kept under guard with Dr. Vivaldi. If all goes well, you'll be free, and we will do everything we can to make you happy here. When you are ready, return to the netherworld. We shall help you. You start to thank the Grand Akpar, but he holds up his hands. Do not thank me until I tell you this. If we are betrayed, and the Rakas attack, you and Vivaldi will die. There's not much you can say, but you hardly have any time anyway, for the guards quickly lead you away.
This
Turn to
is like
page
in the
76.
time travel in when you teach those wizards mediation, pure mediation. They're like, this is too powerful. We can't do this again.
Yeah, they're just like,
Wait.
wait, we can just like talk to each other? Like, I have a feeling like that's how you would normally do they kill each other every time they have a disagreement?
Wait, my struggle for power
Do
was
they
a
never
result
disagree?
of the psychological trauma that my parents put me through? Yes, God. You people are like babies. It's always because of the psychological trauma.
Yeah. You tell Dr. Vivaldi of the advice you gave the Grand Akpar, and she shakes your hand. I think I would have said the same thing if our destinies are to die at the hand of the Akpars. It will not be your fault. Now 3 tides has passed, and you and Vivaldi are still waiting for the news that will seal your fate. It must be midway through the second sleeping tide when the guards awaken you. A moment later, the Grand Akpar walks into your Aegon. With him is a high Rakas. The Akpards and Rakas have made peace, says Akpar. From now on, we will build boats for both tribes, and there will be no bombs.
Did you guys kiss?
Turn to page
too?
78. Also, we figured out that we just had a lot of sexual tension, and that's why we wanted to fight each other, because we didn't really understand like how that felt, really. But
there
like,
was something
there's just
undeniable.
like repression, you know? Like, there's just repression from our childhoods and like how we were raised. But realize, like, we're leaders now. We could
make the rules.
Just like break through that. From then on, you and Dr. Vivaldi are treated like honored guests. The Akpards bring you baskets heaped with tonga and cakes made from golden grain. They show you their mineral pools where you swim in the swirling, bubbly water. Later, you lie in the warmth of the glowing rocks and cool off under the black sun. A few tides later, the Grand Akpar pays you a visit. Would you like to stay longer and explore the underground kingdom? We shall lend you 3 hunters to guide you. Or would you wish to go back to the netherworld? Which would you prefer? Which would you prefer? Dr. Vivaldi asks you. There's still a chance to return home, though the risks are great. If you want to explore the underground kingdom, turn to page 81. If you say you want to try to return to the surface, turn to page 82.
Let's explore. Yeah. What we came here for in the first place anyways.
Just for the sake of like not adding like another 30 minutes, we're just going to choose to go to the surface.
Okay.
Because there's an ending there, basically. We can go back, we can like, I can go through and tell you kind of like briefly what the other ones are right after this, but I just kind of want to end the episode sooner than later. Okay, so if there's a chance of making it, I'd like to try to get home. Then we must hurry. Dr. Vivaldi says, Akpar, there's not much you can do but lead us to the crater where we arrived. Akpar speaks in his own tongue to a guard, who quickly leaves the chamber. Turning to you, he says, I shall have a boat ready to cross the Grand River. Come then, and we will guide you back to the secret cannon. After 3 tides journey, you and Dr. Vivaldi is guided by a party of Akpards to reach the bottomless crevasse. Dr. Vivaldi runs towards a metal craft, towards the crater floor. A verticraft, she says. With luck, we'll get this back to the Earth's surface. Dr. Vivaldi gives instructions to the arc pods, where they use a rope to suspend the craft directly above the shaft of the crevasse. You and Dr. Vivaldi thanks your host and bid them farewell. The canopy cover closes. You watch anxiously as Dr. Vivaldi checks the instrument. Are you ready? She asks. Ready. You grit your teeth as the vertipod accelerates into the crevasse and begins a 800-mile ascent to the surface of the Earth. You are compressed flat against your seat. The G-force is terrific. It's getting worse. What's happening? Can Dr. Vivaldi stop it? You're blacking out. Turn to page 74. Your head aches. You feel as if you've been run over by a steamroller. But a cool hand is pressed against your forehead. Don't worry, you're going to be okay, Dr. Vivaldi says. The radio works. Help is on the way. Your face is bruised. It's just as painful as opening your eyes, but it's well worth it. For the bright sunlight you see, ice fields all around you. You're back in Greenland, and right now the whole Earth's surface feels like home. You look at Dr. Vivaldi. Her face shows that she is in pain too. A broken arm, otherwise I'm okay. We're lucky, you say. Yes. She smiles. The verticraft just squeaked through. The crevasse is narrow 2 more feet. In a few more weeks, it would have been impossible to get through. You and I will probably be the last one to ever visit the Underground Kingdom. I'm glad we had the chance. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. The end. Okay. So just real quickly, if you decided to travel, and explore, one, you either go to Weightless Peaks or you go to the Hills of Diamonds or the Shining Mountain. If you go to Weightless Peaks, you die.
You're just dead.
You just die. You know what the word weightless means? And there's a black hole.
Oh, okay.
You go towards a black hole because it's the only source of gravity. So you die. If you go to the Hills of Diamonds, you get a bunch of diamonds, and you say, "Oh, I'm going to be rich," but like you're not, because you're not the De Beers Corporation.
Yeah.
I don't like, you can't sell diamonds for like a profit unless you're like the De Beers Corporation. You can never sell a diamond back from like how much you bought it, because diamonds are actually really plentiful. But De Beers buys all of the like land rights and just puts the diamonds in like a vault and controls the supply. Yeah, that diamonds are actually like really plentiful, it turns out. Turns out there's a lot of places where a lot of heat pressure happened. Yeah, so, okay. And last one, you go to the Shining Mountain. If you go to the Shining Mountains, you find Larson and Sneed or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, those
turns
guys.
out that's where they are at. Yeah, but how are you gonna get there's only 2 spots.
Yeah, and they're like, hey,
on the verticraft.
Where's that old man? And you're like, it's
and you
so
don't know
weird.
about the
he
river?
Like, pissed himself to death.
You know how like we're made of 70% water? He pissed all of that out. It's really weird. That, like, you know that one scene from The Mummy where we see someone like desiccate in front of you?
Yeah.
It was like that, but like all the liquid is coming out of his dick. But I guess maybe you'll figure out that the underground river goes to like the sea, maybe? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, that's that. It's a good book overall, I'd say. Good book overall. I like it. I like the fact that you being anti-war actually pushes the story along instead of not. Because so many times it's just like, oh, you dumb baby, you need to actually do something like a man. And these are the one that pushes you forward, and like the peaceful one is what kills you normally. But, yeah. Okay, well,
I like it.
What do you think about this book?
It's been really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Who wrote it? Yeah, Edward Packard.
Yeah.
Edward Packard, which was the other main
Edward
writer.
Packard
for
and
these older ones.
Montgomery, whose son Anson Montgomery has also written a bunch of these books.
Yeah.
We just read the Escape from the Haunted Warehouse, which was written by Anson Montgomery. Robert Montgomery, I think. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was pretty good. Well, that's about it. Maybe don't go to like trying to kill people immediately
We don't
as your
trust
first
them.
response.
They don't trust you either. Just be friends. Kiss.
I know, it's weird.
I don't know. Just kidding.
Just make
Yeah.
out and like become a polycule with the entire. Just become a gigantic polycule. Come on. Okay, well, this has been Turn to Your Doom, and
Bye.
become a polycule. I don't know. Bye.
Good night, Mr. the Missile.